Hi, everybody. Welcome to today's edition of the CrossFit Games Update Show. I'm Sean Woodland with Pat Sherwood. Tommy Marquez will be joining us in a moment. 15.3 in the books for the men. And just like the women, we saw some extremely impressive scores. In fact, Pat, I think we saw some scores that I didn't think we were going to see.
No, we've been doing this for a while, and every single time I look at the workout, I go, this is how many reps we'll get. And then all those crazy CrossFitters out there just there were so many scores above 600.
Yeah.
That's what blew my mind on this one.
The next chapter of the CrossFit Games Open is in a day. It's tomorrow in Portland, Oregon. 15.4 between Josh Bridges and Scott Panchik from Portland, Oregon. You can watch it live at 5 p.m. Pacific time on games.crossfit.com. Chris Spieler will be there. The 7-time CrossFit Games competitor will be part of our broadcast. Remember, if you want to get your questions in for the Cool Down Show, shoot them on video, hashtag them to Facebook, Instagram, or Twitter with the hashtag of CrossFit Games, and we might use it on the broadcast. We showed some video yesterday of people getting their first muscle-ups in 15.3, and that was awesome. But I think the most impressive muscle-up we saw wasn't a first, but it was, if you don't watch this and get goosebumps, I don't know what's wrong with you.
Yeah, good luck topping this. Kevin Ogar got a muscle up. It took over social media. And if you don't follow Kevin Ogar on Facebook and Instagram, I recommend that you do. Not only are his physical achievements incredible, but the guy's mindset and his ability to kind of laugh at situations and makes the rest of us uncomfortable, he's incredible.
Yeah, and the cool thing about that is that Ogar got to post an RX score on the
board,
leaderboard.
man.
So congratulations to Kevin Ogar. That was awesome. In my mind, he wins the Open regardless of what happens from here on out. So 15.3 is in the books for the men, and it's Ben Smith who has the top score of 630 reps. He actually tied Brad Townsend, but due to his tiebreak, it's Smith who finishes first. Townsend gets his best finish in the Open by far. His previous best finish, 4,980th in 15.2. Matt Fraser will finish third, followed by Josh Bridges, and then Ricardo Donati. His best finish before his fifth place in 15.3 was 127th in 15.2. So let's talk about Ben Smith. He said that he likes these movements. He was a fan of this workout when it came out, but when he was all said and done, he said, I didn't think I did that well.
I mean, I've always liked those movements, I guess. I mean, I've always done well in the movements in the past. When the workout came out, I thought in my head, I'm like, okay, I think the top score is going to be right around 4 rounds, maybe just over 4 rounds. That's what I said to myself, and I said if I can get 4 rounds, I'd be in a competitive spot. To be honest, I finished the workout, and I was like, I think somebody's going to beat that. I don't think I pushed hard enough to win that one this week, and I guess it ended up just being enough. So, got lucky there.
Ben Smith was his first event win of the 2015 Reebok CrossFit Games Open, and he's a 6-time Games competitor. But the scary thing for me is that he's so young that he may not have actually reached his full potential yet.
He's been young forever. Every year we talk about how young this guy is. Ben Smith might actually be the most successful human being on the planet. Like Sean said, he's been to the Games 6 times, and at 24 years young, he's already married the woman of his dreams. He owns his own CrossFit affiliate, and he just bought a house, all by 24 years old. And with so much capacity still left, he makes it to the Games. This year, he'll be in that elite club of people that have gone 7 times, and he might go 8, 9, like who knows what this kid's capable of.
Well, there is a change now at the top of the overall worldwide leaderboard. We have a new person in first place, and that man's name is Matt Fraser by virtue of his 3rd place finish in 15.3. He jumps ahead of Rich Froning, who is in 17th in 15.3. Jason Kalipa, he sits in 5th. He got his best finish of the Open with a 29th in 15.3. Travis Mayer, a top 10 finish for him. More on that guy in a second, but let's go to the top of the leaderboard. First time since 2011 that Rich Froning has not been on top of the leaderboard. In 2011, of course, when Dan Bailey,
everyone knows
friend
that.
of the show, won.
And right now, Open. Rich Froning is hitting mute on his computer, so he doesn't have to hear this yet. Matt Fraser is on top of the leaderboard, and that is not insignificant, even if it's just for 1 week. That's a really big deal. I caught up with him today, and he said, look, let's not get carried away. I know there's 2 weeks left. A lot can change. And he said he feels like he's kind of poking the bear. So now that Rich is clearly not happy that he's in second, he might even try, if you can imagine that, harder than normal in the last couple weeks to just regain that first spot. So men's leaderboard's fantastic.
And we talked about it yesterday. The men's overall leaderboard, like the women's overall leaderboard, it's fun to look at. But the ones that are really starting to matter right now are the regional leaderboards. There are some athletes who need to get some work done over these past 2 weeks in order to get themselves into regionals. And for a closer look at the men's side of that, let's send it over to Tommy Marquez.
Thanks, Sean. Much like the women yesterday, there's a contingent of male games athletes that currently sit outside the top 20 and have some serious ground to make up during these last 2 weeks of the Open. Jordan Troyan, the man who's won the opening event at the Games the last 2 years, sits in 26th place, but is slowly climbing back from 35th in week number 1. Despite being a 6-time CrossFit Games competitor, Pat Burke is in 27th down in the Southwest, mainly due to a 187th place finish in the clean and jerk. A pair of Jeffs, Jeff Germon in the South Central and Jeff Evans in the Southeast, have more than 100 points to make up in their regions to make it back into the top 20. But the male athlete this week that I'm going to be paying close attention to is the North Central's Alex Nettie. The 2-time Games athlete may be in 29th after 3 weeks, but he's improved his placing in each workout thus far in the Open, going from 141st in 15.1 to 28th place in 15.3. And Sean, 2 more finishes in the top 25, and I think Alex should be able to make it back into regionals, but none of these athletes are out of the woodwork and have their work cut out for them in these last 2 weeks.
Thanks, Tommy. We'll definitely be keeping an eye on those races in the regions in the coming weeks. Let's go back to the overall leaderboard because there are a couple athletes that we've been talking about here that we mentioned when we looked at the leaderboard the first time. First, Travis Mayer. He's been there for quite a while, and Nick Urankar as well, who's sitting in 9th.
Travis Mayer, one of the sneakiest people in the world, tops my list with like Snake Eyes, Storm Shadow, and Valerie Volbrel. 2-time CrossFit Games competitors, very quietly sitting 6th place worldwide in the Open leaderboard. He took 3rd last year at regionals in the Southeast, and I'll tell you what, if Noah Olson thinks it's going to be an easy victory down there, I think Travis has something to say about that.
And as well as Nick Urankar is doing, in his region, he's not in the top 3.
Nick Urankar is crushing it. He's doing amazing. And how incredible is this? You can be 9th on the worldwide leaderboard and 4th in your region. So Central East gets so much hype, rightfully so. Here's what the leaderboard looks like in that region. Rich Froning, 1st. Scott Panchek, 2nd. Then Alex Anderson is 3rd in Central East, 7th worldwide. And that puts Nick Urankar 4th. Absolutely incredible. Again, like every year, can't wait to watch the Central East.
We always like to take a look at some of the fun stuff that's going on out there in the community. And in Canada West, some very elite athletes have a little bit of a personal competition going. Mitch Barnard currently sits in 1st place in Canada West. Brent Fikowski's in 3rd. And Joe Scaley's in 5th. So the 3 of these guys have a little bet going that whoever finishes last in the workout that week has to do something. So this week,
makes sense.
Mitch Barnard lost. His punishment, he has to get a tramp stamp of the word loser. Now, he doesn't have to be permanent, but he's got to keep it there for 7 days, and he has to update it on social media every day to make sure that he is adhering to the conditions of the bet. So
there's nothing like a Canadian man with a tramp stamp.
No.
This is fantastic.
I mean, yeah, you just...
Disgusting.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun what those 3 guys are doing. Follow them on Instagram and Facebook. It's been great fun to follow that and see what they're doing. We're going to leave you right now with Brent Fikowski adding insult to injury to Mr. Barnhard. For Pat Sherwood and Tommy Marquez, I'm Sean Woodland. We'll see you guys next time.